To the north of the Himalayas, the Nubra Valley in Ladakh has only been open to visitors since 1993. It takes several days of hiking to reach the village of Tangier. At an altitude of 3,800 meters, the temperature drops to 20 below 0 Celsius in winter. Are you hungry?
Yes.
I'll give you some tsampa. Had enough to eat? When you're at the monastery, learn your lessons well. You'll be far from your family, and your duty will be to learn. If you don't learn well, you'll be sorry.
I'm going out to play.
Don't stay out too long. And keep an eye on the goats. Urgan is 9 years old. Soon he will leave his valley and go to a distant monastery very far from Tangier, where he will begin a new life, that of a Buddhist priest or lama. "30 families live in Tangier. They all raise sheep, goats, and yaks. They sell the skins, the wool, and the butter to the people in the valleys below. During the winter, when the land sleeps, carding takes place. They spin the wool to make clothing and blankets. At this altitude, wood is a rare commodity, and the primary concern is to feed the fires that heat the houses." Urgan's cousin, Norbu, is 19 years old. Along with his mother, he collects dried yak droppings, which they use for heating. Norbu's mother, Dolma, is like most of the other women in the village. She carries the pain of her son's absence inside of her. Dolma has 6 children, all of whom live with her, except for the youngest. He has been studying at a school of Buddhist philosophy in southern India for the past 3 years. In these remote villages, there's a deep respect for tradition. The eldest always inherits the land, and the youngest enters a monastery. I remember the day he left very well. It was in September. I was working in the fields at the other end of the village when the lama came to take my child. I didn't even have time to say goodbye to him. He was already at the other end of the valley when I heard he had left. I always knew my son would leave one day, but I didn't know when. I wanted to send him presents like cheese and dried apricots. I also tried to send him some salted butter, but they told me that southern India was too far from Tangier, and since we have no money, we couldn't send him that either. Their religion is Tantric Buddhism, full of demons and magic. For 10 days in January, they celebrate the Tibetan New Year, the Losar. Young riders from Tangier participate in a special ritual. This is the effigy of a mouflon, a wild sheep sacred to the people of Ladakh. It protects them from evil spirits and must be destroyed for the year to begin favorably. The stakes are high. The winner will be considered the best rider in the village. This year, Norbu is the best of all. Here it is not green pastures, but the more distant tamarisk brushwood that is most sought after. Long distances have to be covered. The livestock has to be herded higher into the mountains to find food. Norbu and Urgan are used to tending the animals together. Their two families have always been close, and the two boys were raised as brothers.
Look, Norbu, I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna get you. Yeah, you lost again. No, you see, I didn't touch the pebble. I can still play. I didn't touch it. Didn't touch it. I didn't touch it.
But there are lots of boys in the village who don't want to become lamas. Why do you want to?
I have lots of friends who want to go to the monastery too.
Who?
Dorsing, Dorje, Jiman.
Is that why you want to go? Because they want to?
Mm-hmm. What do you want to do later on?
I have lots of ideas about the future, but what I'd like most is to become a singer. But I don't know if I could ever really become a good singer.
Tonight, to celebrate the Tibetan New Year, there's going to be a big dinner. Urgan's mother and her youngest daughter have to cook the stupa, a mystic soup with balls of flour in it. In one of the balls, salt is added for the unstable. In another, rice for the pure, pepper for the erudite, and many other symbolic ingredients. This year, the meal will be held at Urgan's mother's house. It will also be the occasion for the entire family to get together one last time before the youngster leaves the village.
When the Lama told me Urgan would get a good education, I thought it would be good for him to go to the monastery. In Ladakh, the Buddhist philosophy school has a very good reputation. I have 6 children and my husband is dead. If one of my children gets a good education, it will be good for the whole family, since he'll be able to help us financially.
Urgan is seated in the center, a place of honor. A child who enters a monastery is a sign of hope. As a lama, he will become a guide for the others. Through his prayers, he will assure each member of his family a better life in this world, as well as their future lives in the beyond.
I found this ash. It's strange. It means I have to go more often to look for wood.
You have to look after your family more.
Look, I found a white flower.
I thought the stupa was delicious because there was a lot of pepper in it, and pepper makes the stupa taste better. In my bowl, there was some very bitter juniper, but that also means I'm a good man. It's only natural. I'm the oldest of all of you.
At Urgan's uncle's house, everyone dances for the spirits to win them over, so that the mountains permit the rain clouds to get through. This year, the barley, wheat, and fruit harvests were small, and so they are banking on the gods' clemency. The inhabitants of Tangier have never known famine. They have managed to retain their quality of life thanks to a special kind of marriage. Here, a woman can marry two brothers. This union, known as Polyandry, has been officially outlawed since 1941, and it is also forbidden by the Buddhist religion. However, it's still occasionally practiced, especially in these isolated regions. It's simply not discussed in front of strangers and only talked about in secret.
Up to now, it was a good thing for two brothers to share the same woman, since in that way, no field, not even a stone, would leave the family. Family unity was maintained in this way. The earth, the stones, the entire property, even utensils, jewelry, and clothing, everything stayed in the family without having to share it with anyone else. But today, people have become more educated and more individualistic. Nowadays, brothers want to have their own land and their own wife.
Every village has a monastery, always located at the village's highest point. Only one monk lives in the Tangier monastery. Once a month, he has to visit each family and recite the mantras. Otherwise, he never leaves his rocky home. The monastery consists of several hectares of land which the villagers are required to cultivate. Every day, they take turns bringing the monk water and wood. The monastery is open to the public. Anyone can come at any time. The Lama is a father to everyone and a spiritual guide who has all the answers.
So you want to become a lama. You know, if you do become one, you will have to leave your family and live in the monastery. But simply becoming a lama is not enough. You must first learn to know Buddha and the religion, and you must conduct yourself well. If you can follow the rules of the monastery, you will have a harmonious life. You will feel very happy all your life. And I hope you will have good teachers to teach you our religion.
Goodbye, venerated one.
Buddha himself said that to become a lama meant not being too attached to one's family, since this attachment perturbed the practice of the religion. And so, when parents confide their son to a master lama, they must begin to keep their distance. In the Buddhist tradition, the best thing that can happen to a child is to become a lama.
Cricket is the favorite pastime here. Nobody knows the rules of this British sport, first imported into India, but that doesn't matter. They enjoy it immensely. Urgan is playing his last game. Tomorrow he will leave Tangier. His uncle, the caravaner, has to go to a village on the other side of the valley to sell some yaks. Urgan will take advantage of the journey to cross the Wori Pass and then go on to the monastery.
Please, venerated one, I have to cross Wori with a boy who's going to enter the monastery. Tell me how my journey will go.
This boy is very fortunate.
Please. Tell me what you think about this trip.
I have consulted my beads, and I see that your journey will go well. You may leave without fear.
Thank you, venerated one.
At this hour, the sun has not yet penetrated this side of the mountain. They don't know when they'll see each other again, perhaps in a year. During the journey, Urgan is accompanied by his cousin, Norbu, who watches over him. In the past, the Ladakhis were a caravanning people. They would buy salt, jewelry, and furs in Tibet and sell them to the inhabitants of Pakistan. The frontiers, however, were closed, and ever since, there are only a few caravans like this one. The air becomes rare, and each step becomes heavier. The goal is to reach the Wori Pass. Its summit seems to be waiting for them, and at the same time it appears unattainable. A glacial wind makes things even more difficult. A stable at an altitude of 4,700 meters serves as a refuge for the night. A fire keeps them warm and restores their energy.
Urgan, you are going to become a monk, and you mustn't be frightened by such things as demons. Have you heard about this man named Norgal from the village of Sakti? Last year, he was in the mountains when he saw a yak with a strange mount on it. This ghost-like figure followed him relentlessly. He followed him through the mountains, and Norgal walked for such a long time that he got lost and ruined his shoes. Night had fallen, and he was all alone. Nobody knew where he was, but he managed to find his way back. So Urgan, now that you are going to become a lama, you too will feel alone and lost in the monastery. You must show courage as well as strength, and you must not be afraid of being alone or of invisible beings.
The gods are with them. Although the snow is deep, the weather is clement. The risk of a snowstorm or an avalanche is no longer present. Caravanners know all about bad weather. In the past, they lost their livestock in the mountains. In the distance, Wori looms like a promised land. Oxygen is rare, and the final meters are the hardest. Wori at last, 5,200 meters high. Chimda is the first village after the pass. Caravanners usually stop here to trade. Officially, the yak is a partially protected species. Nevertheless, the Ladakhis eat its meat, especially during the Tibetan New Year. It's a good source of income at this time of year.
Don't worry, he's young.
Your price is too high.
No, it's not. He's small, but he's a good yak.
18,000 rupees is just too much.
No, it's not.
I'll give you 15,000, all right? And the next time I need one, I'll come and see you. I'll take it in one piece.
All right, for 15,000 rupees. You're lucky. 15,000 is a bargain. In 2 years, they're going to build a road leading to our village, so we'll be able to go to Tangier to buy yaks. We'll even be able to transport them by truck. It'll make our work much easier.
Caravanning is a good life. We drink beer, we sing. But with this new road, we'll get to Tangier faster. So lots of things will change. We won't get together as often because, well, when you're in a car, you're all alone.
The road separates here. For Urgan and Norbu, a new life is about to begin. Buddha said, "You will be guided on the road to awakening."
So, do you like it here?
Yes, but look at this house. It's awful.
No, it's not.
All these houses look old and broken down. They're ugly.
No, the windows aren't bad. You don't know anything.
Anyway, I still don't like them.
We'll walk along the wall so you can see better, but be careful walking. Be careful, I said.
I'm too tired to be careful. Hey, look, it's icy. You can slide on it.
Be careful so you don't fall.
If you fall, you're gonna break a leg, and I'll be glad because I can run away.
Urgan and Norbu have never seen such an elaborate Tibetan New Year celebration. Nomads from the high plateaus live in this village during the winter. The women wear the parak, a headdress decorated in turquoise, which imitates the head of a cobra. The cobra is a god symbolizing fertility. This headdress is handed down from mother to daughter. For each wedding, a turquoise stone is added. Life is particularly hard for these nomads, and poverty sometimes forces them to sell their headdress, their only precious possession apart from their livestock.
When we get to Leh, I absolutely have to find a girl, because almost all the girls in Tangier are my cousins. I only know 4 or 5 other families, and they don't have any pretty daughters. I want a girl who's pretty and educated. When we get to Leh, I'll try to find one I like, and if she's really pretty, I'll show her to you.
When you find a girl, what are you going to do?
Oh, that's easy. We'll meet, and then we'll start to love each other.
Going to see a Lama is a New Year's tradition. Both Norbu's and Urgan's parents insisted that they see one of these female oracles. The Lama speaks the language of the gods. She is possessed by a spirit called La. The cloth hiding her face protects the Lama from human contact. She is in a trance, and the divine spirit speaks through her. The Lama has great powers. She can predict the future, break spells, and heal illnesses.
My daughter is always sick. She's not growing normally.
That's because she ate some sand when she was in the fields. That's why she's sick. You must go see the Lama in Stakna. He will give you amulets for protection. And you must not wash her every day. It's too cold at the moment. Come closer. Come closer.
To extract the poison, she sucks the patient's stomach, as with this woman who suffers from stomach aches. For this child's skin problems, she applies a hot strip of iron to her tongue.
So this is the boy who's going to be a Lama. You will be good for your people. Take care of this boy. Give him good clothing and keep him clean. He will be a good Lama. I'm going to bless him for his future life.
The spirit leaves the Lama's body.
My mother died when I was 4. She was a Lamo, and her spirit began to possess me. The people who come to see me suffer from ulcers and rheumatism. They have pain in the back or leg pains. As for the Muslims, they quarrel a lot and cast spells on each other. This often happens with them. I also heal mad people. Nobody, including me, knows if I'm possessed by a good spirit. I can't say if I really help people. Only those who come to me can say.
Urgan, what did you think of the oracle?
At first, she scared me.
Why were you scared?
I thought she was going to kill me.
You think an oracle kills people?
I thought so.
You think an oracle's mean?
Well, that's what I thought.
No, an oracle wouldn't hurt you. Think it over. Did you see the girl who was behind me at the oracles?
Behind you?
Yes.
What about her?
Well, I really wanted to sleep with her.
Stop saying dirty things like that. Stop it.
Buddha said the path will be a spiritual quest for truth, linked to life, but also to death. These lamas are bringing the mystic tiara to funeral ceremonies. They transport the body of the deceased to the cremation site. Their prayers are a reminder that death is not the end of a life, but a step in the reincarnation cycle. Their incantations help the dead person to seek the right path. They also insist that he not return and disturb family harmony. Cremation is the most widespread funeral practice in the Ladakh. Only those who died of a contagious disease, thieves, and murderers are buried in the earth to prevent them from being reincarnated.
Were you afraid back there? What would you say if you saw a dead body close up?
I don't want to see somebody dead. I'd be too scared.
But you want to become a lama? When you're a lama, will you be scared too?
No, I won't be scared anymore.
All right then. You mustn't be scared now. It's just a body, it's like a stone. His soul is somewhere else. That's what's really important.
Norbu, please, buy me a...
Buy you a what?
Buy me a cricket ball.
What? A ball?
A cricket ball.
A cricket ball?
Yes, if you don't buy me the ball, I won't become a lama.
Really? You won't become a lama unless I buy you a ball? But what good is a ball in the monastery? It's useless.
This morning, they pass in front of the Tiksay monastery. After spontaneously responding to the call to prayer, they continue on their way. In Tiksay, the day begins at dawn with prayers recited in chorus. At the same time, they have their breakfast of salted tea and barley flour. There are about 100 monks in the Tiksay monastery, more than half of whom are young novices between 8 and 20 years old. They are all like Urgan, having left their villages to come here and learn the precepts of Buddha. At the age of 20, they can choose between taking their monastic vows or going back to the secular world. They study every day at the monastery school, where they learn mantras by heart. Mantras are sacred words which concentrate one's energies. At the end of their education, they will have a thorough knowledge of the contents of 29 prayer books. Beginning at 8 years old, children learn to read and write Hindi, English, and especially Tibetan. Strict discipline is practiced here. Where does water come from? From the sky. Where does the sky come from? From Buddha's creation. Where does Buddha come from? And so on. Afternoons are devoted to an exercise in reflection which favors critical judgment and the understanding of life. In turn, the students question each other on various subjects. The goal is to ask the most demanding questions possible. It's a sort of gymnastic exercise of the mind, which enables each one to evaluate his knowledge. The master must resolve the problems which have not been answered. At the end of the day, they all return to their cells to meditate.
Did you see those houses down there? They're really pretty, aren't they? Leh is a really pretty city. I love it. Look, that car has hay for animals on top of it. It does, look. There's hay on top of that car. The scooter is great. Look, there's the car with the hay on it again. Incredible. Did you see? There's even a garage for bicycles. Look, that truck is all red in front. Before, I saw one that was all white. It's fantastic. Did you hear that horn? Sounds like someone with an upset stomach. Who are they?
They're Kashmiris selling vegetables.
When are you going to buy me my ball?
You're a pain. Look at that store. You'll see there are all kinds of great things inside. Come on, be careful when you walk.
Is that a photographer's shop?
Look at these, pictures of girls and boys.
Oh, they're great.
How would you like to have your picture taken?
I'd like that.
You would? Really?
Yes.
Good. Then let's do it.
Look at my shoes. Did you see your sash? It's my prettiest sash. My clothes are dirty, but they look kind of clean.
Did you see what your collar looks like?
I look good. Really good, don't I?
Yeah.
Hey, cousin,
What?
when are you gonna buy me the ball?
I'm not going to buy it.
Oh, please.
It's impossible. No.
Come on, Norbu.
No, I'm not going to get it for you.
Urgan. Yeah, follow. Can you follow him? There you go.
Hey, cousin.
What?
Buy me a bat.
You already have a ball and a bat. It's too expensive. I don't even have money to buy myself some clothes. Look, everyone here wears nice clothes, and I want to be well dressed too. If not, I'll never have a chance of becoming a singer.
Well, then we'll buy something for you, too.
신나주주 니제고아 나이니 메잘동노도 신나주주 니제고아 나이니 메잘동노도 남자스토네 스톤자 숨포스 캐셀로스페 왕지술도 나이니 메잘동노도
A monastery perched on a hill. After walking for 5 days, they finally arrive.
Take care of yourself, and don't forget to listen to what they tell you. I'll be back soon to find out how you're doing, okay? All right, so long.
From this moment on, Urgan is in the hands of his spiritual master. Norbu will try his luck in Leh at becoming a singer and at finding a pretty girl.
Are you happy to be here or not? Is it your family that wants you to become a lama, or is it you?
My family.
You know that when you become a lama, you don't have the right to play in the monastery. When you are a lama, you must forget all of those things. You must be serious now, you know. Now you're going to meet the head lama. You must be polite, very respectful, and not do anything silly. You must show that you fear your elders, even if you really don't.
Good day, venerated one.
All right, sit down. You're here to become a lama, right? Today, a new life is beginning for you, and you must concentrate on your studies. It is very important to get up early in the morning and not to stay in bed for too long, and to recite the mantras all the time, even when you're washing your face and hands. If you practice the religion well and you learn to pass on your knowledge to others, you will become a good lama. And above all, you must show respect for your teachers and your elders.
A ceremony is held celebrating Urgan's entrance into the monastery. The men officiating are the most respected of all. Some of them have come on foot from the Ladakh to Tibet and have been studying Buddhist teachings for more than 20 years. The head lama cuts off a symbolic lock of hair. Urgan is now in the order of Tibetan Buddhism. He is dressed in a purple robe. At his side is his master, who will be responsible for his education and with whom he will share a cell. And like all novices, his apprenticeship begins by reading the noble treatise on wisdom.
Tell me, Master, do you know how to play cricket? Do you like cricket?